Welcome back to G Brands, brought to you by Harvey Norman. Harvey Norman has a huge range of next-gen AI PCs from the world's top brands, Microsoft, HP, Lenovo, Acer and Asus, all powered by Snapdragon. I'm Andy Rowe, and as usual, I'm joined by All Blacks legend Justin Marshall, Wallaby winner Jeremy Paul, and today, former Springbok captain and centurion Jean de Villiers, and maybe we'll get Rabs on. We'll see. We'll see.
Hopefully.
He came back in the group chat saying he's going to come on, didn't he?
Mate, he did.
Because you know what he does? He'll just pop up.
Well, mate, he does. He's flying to the UK, right? I don't understand.
Or did you just break that news?
Well, no, because if he's going to jump on, then it's like, I don't know why we can't break it.
I think it's pretty well known.
Camp.
We were talking about it on Sky, so if we were able to sort of say that, I think it's pretty well established that he is going. It's just whether or not he's going to be coming back. So JP broke it. I'm just helping him out by saying that. Some other forms of media have thrown it out there as well.
Mate, Marshy's gone on Sky and got the jump.
I have not.
Mate, I saw in Australia during the NRL finals, right? Like that Josh Papali'i had been like, the press had found out he was injured, and the press were actually calling the Raiders players rats. Like there's a rat in your team.
Oh, really?
Am I a rat? Is that what you're calling me, a rat? Right now,
a snitch.
Yeah, I think so.
A snitch,
I think
as you'd say in Australia.
Mate, someone came at me in 2003 about releasing information too.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that, actually.
It wasn't me, man. Shaggy, right? It wasn't me. But look, hopefully we'll get James. And I think we've got another guest as well, don't we? Hopefully.
Yeah, Jean de Villiers.
Yeah.
Centurion, Springbok captain.
And doing great things with his pod as well.
I tell you what, when I actually reached out to see if we could get a former Springbok on to talk about this weekend's game, there was a queue.
I was going to say last week. Yeah.
Last week, couldn't get a hold of anyone. Now it's literally my phone was like after the game, bing, 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 bing. Hey, bro, you want me to come on the podcast?
Oh, can we start with this? Like, how is New Zealand and how are you boys feeling? You sick of?
I can tell you now, the pitchforks are out.
Oh, yeah.
Grown men are crying on the radio.
Yes, they are. Hey, look, tell me. So, because obviously, from my perspective, I'm dealing with it because I'm in the media and it's my job. So, what I don't do, because I'm involved in that capacity, I don't kind of see the public reaction to a degree. It's not worth me reading all the comments and all that sort of stuff. And equally, I'm not out and about sort of walking around. Poor guy on the plane that wanted to speak to me about it today. And I had to shuffle past him. He was in that dreaded middle seat on the plane. You know the guys that get stuck in there?
Yeah.
It's just the most horrible seat on the plane anyway. And he said to me on the way past, and he said, oh, wow. He said, what about that test? And I went, And so basically didn't say anything. And then he said, oh, I'm sure you're probably sick of talking about it because I am as well. And I said, yep, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. And I sat down and put my earpods in, and that was that. Yeah. He must have thought, wanker.
But Justin Marshall hasn't
So is
changed.
this how you get your notorious name of being an arsehole?
But I honestly talked about it all Saturday night.
Oh, yes.
Got up the next morning. Went on radio, talked about it for 2 hours, went on breakdown, talked about it again, and I knew we were going to be talking about it today. So,
what's the prognosis?
You know what I was doing? I was a professional. I was saving my chat for the biggest media outlet in the country.
The Bledisloe's coming home. Oh, no, sorry, what?
Yeah, we're not there yet. What was the reaction in Australia when you saw that result?
Oh, look, for us, it's huge, actually, huge, because you got belted. Like it wasn't.
That's the thing.
It wasn't just a win, right?
I think if it's 2 or 3 points, or 5 points or 6 points,
almost expected, right? Because the way the championship, easily one of the best championships we've seen well over a decade, right? Or how far as long it's been going for. Incredible, like one win, then a loss. Like it's that ability to back up, right? But you would have thought at home. Like the All Blacks at home, particularly after that first week too. I thought they played really well. Saw the difference in the first game, right? Like when you had set piece parity or even a little bit of ascendancy to win in the second half of that first game. You started to lose that set piece battle. Obviously the aerial battle as well. Look, let's not forget Cheslin Colby, that intercept in the second game. That turned, right? You guys were really hammering that line. Like that's almost like a 14-point swing. But that sort of second half capitulation. I think, we sort of saw something like that with the Wallabies in Argentina, like a young building side. Like, I did not expect that. Like, I mean, look, you got to take your hat off to South Africa. They went back to what they knew well, right? That was that aerial battle set piece.
Mate, yeah, and I think that's really relevant. I think the other side of it, for all of New Zealand's outburst of frustration and anger and whatever it might be at the moment, everybody in New Zealand have been incredibly complimentary and respectful of South Africa's performance.
Yes.
Mate, they played well. Like, honestly, I hardly remember them making an error in that second half.
Your commentary was sublime. Like, just the excitement when, like, that Quagga Smith, when he went over.
Yeah.
Wow. But I also thought Rassie, too, with his selections. I thought his selections, and when he put his reserves on, like, he didn't bomb squad it, right? Like, he brought them on at strategic times when he knew that player could change the momentum of the game. Like, that was I thought was a master stroke.
And he did it Rassie as well, didn't he? Like, this as a front rower. I think it was 1 minute 30 into the second half, and he changed to 2 props. Everyone's thinking, why did you just do that at half time, mate? So they hadn't even had a scrum. They came running on, trundled around for a minute and a half, and then it's like, off you come. I don't even think they would have touched the ball or maybe even hit a ruck. Maybe made a tackle, don't know.
Could you imagine how much that would give you the shits?
Oh, it would give me the absolute shit.
Because I used to change my jersey at halftime. I don't know about you, but I always had to put a fresh jersey on. So to have a fresh minute jersey on, mate, would have given me the shits. But
the other side of it is, he's gone into half time. He's had a shower. He's changed his kit. He's cleaned his boots. He goes out there. He's straight back out.
But the thing is, when things aren't going well, but they're going all right for South Africa. They're only behind by 3 at that stage. You go into the shed, and you're always kind of, when you're in the shed, and there's things that have been executed well in the half or not, and you've got a game plan, doing your thing. You're in the shed and you're mincing around. The coach comes and speaks to you. That makes you a little nervous for a start off if it's a one-on-one, because you're thinking, what have I done? What have I done?
Eddie Jones.
And then you kind of avoid that. And then there's the little group get together, backs and forwards get together. And then it's okay, I'm avoiding it at the moment. And then it's like, all right, everybody. And so when you get into that final little huddle, so you get in one more, the coaches leave, you get in that final little huddle, you're safe. You're like, yes, I've got another at least 20 or 30 minutes in this test, or probably a whole half. And these poor two guys thought that they had avoided being yanked off. And next minute, 1 minute 20 into the second half, they're off anyway. They thought they'd survived the cold.
None of that makes sense.
What do you think's happened at halftime for the All Blacks?
Oh, look, I would have gone into that, like into the halftime break, and I would have just said, look, that Cheslin Colby try, like Billy Proctor had dummied, gone, you guys would have scored. So it was a 40. Like, you look at occasions like that or situations like that, and you go, look, boys, don't worry, let it go. We could have easily scored off that. So I wouldn't have thought there wouldn't have been anything but positivity in that dressing room, man, because they were. Again, it was a ding-dong battle. I thought it was pretty even in the first half. Look, again, that aerial battle, man. You and I spoke off camera, right? We believe it's becoming one of the most important parts of the game now because that law change. We said it last year, man, when we first saw it. Said, I think this is going to open up the game a lot. And what it's doing is the size, mate. We saw it with the Wallabies in Argentina as well, man. Argentina, I think, won 98% of the aerial battle. Every time they put the ball up, they won it. It's just free space, as well as a great attacking platform to go forward. Also, too, obviously the defensive side, trying to get in behind. And South Africa were just they were excellent, mate. That halfback too, Reichert. Oh my God, what a game! When was the last time we saw a halfback play 80 minutes?
Also,
he had to though.
Yeah.
Because the other halfback had to go onto the wing, but their adaptability.
He was one of the best swingers in the game.
And you look at South Africa.
Tate McDermott style.
Yeah, exactly. And you look at the Springboks' performance over 80 minutes and how clinical it was and how well they thought it out and worked their way through adversity in that test match. Lost their starting, Sasha Feinberg and Ngomazulu in the first half, So all of a sudden, the dynamic changes in your attack because they were attacking with him in a certain way. And then Marnie Lebok comes on. They had to adapt and adjust. And he sat back in the pocket a bit more. So their shape changed. Right. And he actually kicked from quite deep, whereas Ngomazulu was kicking from up closer to the
A lot
line
flatter.
and taking defenders on. So that changed. And then they had to switch because Reinach went off. So Grant Williams came on at halfback, and so they had to adjust there. And then they put Willemse back to fullback, Grant Williams onto the wing. So all of that was going on, switched Ethan Hooker to the other wing from the right wing, and they still, in that second half in particular, were faultless. Like their ability for their players to adjust, be in different positions, and still look so methodical. Man, it was very, very impressive.
Yeah,
and the big discussion is, okay, do we allow them to look that good? I don't think so.
No.
I just think they were that good.
No,
Really?
mate. When you don't make mistakes, like
They didn't make any.
but then you also, I thought there's some critical set piece turnovers too for the All Blacks, right? Like in terms of the line out in particular, there were 3-4 losses on the bounce, and when you start to as a hooker particularly. You get the wobbles, man, particularly after the second one, and then you're coming up for the third one, and you just feel, especially back in my day with Victor Matfield, I thought there were 7 Victor Matfields jumping, you just, and even that call, but then it comes back to the pressure on the call.
It must be the worst one, though, is it? That one that cost them the try. I know, I want you to digress, but I want to ask you this because it's really relevant. Yeah, that must be the hardest one for a hooker.
No.
Short line out,
Shit
defensively on... I know it was, because you can go long over the back, can't you?
Well, look, that's what I was getting to though too. It's not just the mechanics of the throwing, jumping; it's also the call. So what happens is there's a domino effect on terms of pressure, right? So whoever's calling the line out, when I saw that call, like that 4-man bang, the movement was slow. You're trying to throw a ball over the top of a South African defense. I thought, wow, that's a really bad call. And so
Who's calling the All Black line out?
Well, I think it's Barrett. I think it's Barrett. But I thought that one in particular was a poor call. But again, it all starts to then magnify, right? When you're losing, because you can't build any momentum, mate. You cannot get into the game because you don't have the ball. And you got to wait for them to make a mistake or force a mistake, right? And that is through set piece. And their set piece was on fire, mate. Once they get into that groove and they start winning that territorial battle as well with that aerial stuff, mate, their confidence level, but their running too, man. Their running was non-stop. They were very, very, very physical. They got over the advantage line every time. Even by 1 millimetre to 2 millimetres, right, you're still generating quick ball. So, yeah, they were pretty faultless.
It is time for this week's Harvey Norman Next Gen Moment of the Week. Harvey Norman's got your back with a massive lineup of Next Gen AI PCs from Microsoft, HP, Lenovo, Acer and Asus, all powered by Snapdragon. And this week, we're talking innovation.
We are talking innovation. Now, look, innovation is all about the ability to do something really different and make it successful. And I thought Cheslin Colby, after a little bit of disappointment, maybe 7 or 8 minutes prior to this situation, he innovated because he had to. He was forced into a position as a defender where the All Blacks had an overlap, and he gambled.
Yeah.
And to a degree, he did it perfectly. He stepped in. Billy Proctor, obviously, he had players outside him. But when you've got a guy like that that's just so quick, so well read in terms of understanding when to inject himself into the game, and he innovated perfectly, intercepted it. And the minute that he did that with his speed and his ability, he just absolutely racehorsed it to the goal line. So, yeah, Cheslin Colby, mate, the big innovator for the weekend.
Cheslin Colby, consistently transforming the game, just like the new generation of AI PCs is transforming the way we live, work, and create. With tools that organise, communicate, and generate faster than ever, next-gen AI PCs are here to change the game. Head into your local Harvey Norman and experience the revolution yourself. Do you think Cheslin Colby saw what the All Blacks were doing? They were flicking it to the side, right, for the first for that first half. They were flicking it a lot to get it to that outside channel, and he was like, "Okay, I know where the ball's going."
No, he defends narrow anyway. If you go back and watch the game and the way that he is like a little missile, and he just commits. So he starts real narrow, and if he gets outflanked, he backs himself with his speed to chase anyone that's got width. He'll do it all the time. So he kind of sits in that zone anyway. So what he did is he just positioned himself in there, and if they got around him, and he didn't intercept the pass, he'd still back himself to turn and get back. And that's just what he does. Like on the All Blacks' first try that Leroy Carter scored, and how good for him. Like honestly on debut, and running in a try, and he had a fantastic debut. Really, really happy for him. Little boomfa.
He did.
How good was that? Little boomfa.
Yeah, it's his Instagram handle, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, and but honestly, I think the second to last passer in that movement was Damien McKenzie, and he got absolutely annihilated by Ches and Colby.
Yeah.
He left his feet and absolutely smashed him. Just as he let the ball go, Colby's all committed. It was totally legal, but he poleaxed him. He's beyond, like his strength is beyond the diminutive stature that he's got. And so, no, I think he backs himself in that regard. He'll either come racing in like that and absolutely cream somebody, doesn't matter what size they are, or if he can back out of it, back himself with the speed to get back and defend.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the thing for wingers, right? Like that, we discussed this about Corey Toole, actually. A good decision is an early decision, I believe, with wingers. Like if you make a nice early one, it's a good one because you'll execute. At least you'll execute on that. And that's what I thought Cheslin did really well. But also, when you look at that Billy Proctor pass, they're working in the 3 to 4 metre space. Like they will go down that 5 metre channel. So he gambled, and the high probability it was going to be passed, right? Like because Billy Proctor was coming around the corner, so he was already heading that way to the sideline. So he had to straighten up a hell of a lot more. But so Cheslin played him perfectly, though, right? Like went to him and then went out. But look, what I loved about the whole South African side was their commitment, like their commitment to what it was the week before. They just didn't rely on their power game. They actually took it to New Zealand as well from the physicality side. Like every single thing was a competition to them, mate. They went in a million times harder, right? And then as the game progressed. So I suppose this is a big question, though, for the All Blacks now. Is it selection or is it game plan?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it's a combo. Like you asked about what was said in that All Black changing room at halftime, and I'm not sure that the right messaging was given because they were causing the Springboks massive problems with their attack in that first half. They were actually unlucky not to collect more points from line breaks and exposing them big time. Yep. And that blitz defence, they had them in all sorts.
Yep. And
they scored one spectacular try. At one stage there, when you looked, after it sort of went backwards and forwards and both teams were just attacking with width, Springboks were breathing heavy. And I was thinking to myself, to my mind, keep going at them. They're going to eventually lose their legs and their lungs are going to go.
Which we saw the Wallabies do, right, in Joburg.
Exactly,
Just keep going. Keep going.
And then we did the halftime interview and Jason Hollands said, he got asked about, what was said in terms of the second half. And he said, we were getting some change in the width of our game, but we also got to make sure that we do play narrow and play through the middle.
Of course.
But why narrow the game when you're being so successful with? And then if you show some examples in the second half where we had 4-on-1s, 3-on-1s, and we decided to go narrow attack, little chips over top or punch the middle or whatever, and there was space in that outside channel, it was still there. It was still presenting itself. And I just wonder whether or not the players heard that and narrowed up for no reason.
We went to plan B and we didn't need it.
I'm not saying that's Jason Holland saying that in the changing room. He's just saying that's what we spoke about.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, why did you really? I would have said, if I was watching, I would have said, boys, we got them absolutely gassed.
Yeah.
Like if we, yes, we want to play in the right area to do that. And not so ambitious because at one stage they're running it behind their own goal line.
Yeah, that was a bit much.
but they were getting success from it. So it's like, right, maybe the messaging is we've got to play like that because we're going to eventually wear them down and they will run out, their lungs will run out. But let's just be careful that we're not doing it, too deep in our own half or we're conceding points. Maybe that's the message. But whether it was received, whether it was given in the right way, whether the players understood or what, something went wrong, didn't it?
Something changed, right?
Yeah,
Something changed.
But that's why I'm asking selection game plan, right? Okay, game plan.
It's interesting you asked that, JP, because we do have some questions from our listeners, and Craig Redmond asked the same question. Do the All Blacks need a better game plan or personnel changes to achieve consistently good performances.
Oh, there you go. A couple of, mate, is he Rain Man too? Is this guy as well?
He
Craig
is.
Redmond.
Hey?
Great minds think alike.
It's probably just yourself.
No, but
messaging yourself.
No, so I look at game plan, right? Like, so I look at particularly then when you don't have Will Jordan at fullback as well, and you got Damien McKenzie, right? Like, so from that attacking ploy, I'm not saying selection yet. I'm saying still game plan, because whoever you select in those positions also formulates your game plan as well, right? Like, so I look at someone like Will Jordan, like when he actually got the ball. What about that break he made? Like how he ghosted. I thought he could have been tackled by 10 people. When you watch the replay, it's like, zzz, like God, he's a gorgeous runner, isn't he? Like how he just makes a break. And I just felt like someone like him, like at 15, like would have been far better at 15. And I get the whole winger, like there's a massive, massive injury toll. Like I get it. And Will Jordan's probably going to be better than any winger you bring in. But does that mean then you lose on what you get at 15? Like I felt he wasn't in the game, and here's a guy that's 43 tries in 45 games or something. Like, mate, the guy hasn't scored a try in the last 2 games, like, which to me sort of suggests why aren't we putting more of the game plan to Will Jordan? Like, the guy's a freak. Like, is he not getting the respect, or they don't see him as being that player? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't understand it either. Look, honestly, he doesn't get as many involvements when he's on the wing.
God no.
And again, your attack and your vision is so much narrower than what it is as a fullback. And those involvements then are not coming from depth, where he's so really good at picking out defenders as a first or second receiver. When you're on the wing, completely different dynamic. Now, why move your best player and one of your most dangerous weapons to try and fill a spot that you could have filled with somebody else? Now, I know we've got injury problems, but at the end of the day, they could have picked Rieko Ioane on the wing. Actually, they dropped them.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually,
so they still could have picked him. Yeah. Or they had Lester Faianganuku there.
Oh, why not?
But the decision around that is the high ball that you know you're going to get from South Africa, right?
It's like you're worrying about something they're going to bring rather than bringing your own dynamic to the game.
Correct. That's my question.
Do you think there's been too much of that? Like there's been...
Worrying about the opposition, rather than just looking after your own house.
Look, that's how I felt. Look, I felt like, because, for me, I suppose it's a bit of sliding doors with the Wallaby side with Tom Wright, right? There's always a question mark being over Tom Wright until I think after the Joburg game, where everyone finally went, oh, wow, okay, let's just leave him at fullback. Let's not talk about Suat Ali going back to fullback. Keep him at 13. It kind of solidified, right? Yeah. Like, then obviously gutted for him doing his ACL. But I just feel that, like, and we've spoken about this, like, at length, right? Like, so much about moving players and fitting them into positions for other players. And I just felt, you've got arguably, I think, one of the best players in the world in Will Jordan, and you've slipped him out to the wing. I think from a selection point and game plan point of view.
Can I ask you, JP, about the All Blacks front row and what your thoughts were on selections on the field, on the bench?
Weird again. Like, so when you watch that first game, they beat South Africa in that first half. Fletcher Newell scrum, holding it down, man. Like, again, you've only got to get parity here, right? Like, you've only got to get parity because the Boks rely on that ability to be able to scrummage on their own ball and just truck you up the field, piggyback off the back of penalties, make territory, right? Get down there, put pressure. And Fletcher Newell, I thought, was excellent, man. Like, and obviously Cody Taylor as well. He's a very good scrummager. And I thought it was a weird change with Tyrone Lomax starting and then bringing Fletcher Newell on. Like, I don't know why the modern day coach now looks at, like, the reserves as, I get this whole finishing thing, but I still feel that reserves are the players that are trying to play better to get into that starting team. You all want to start. Like, you don't want to be on the bench. Like, I get this whole finishing thing is just as important, but as a player, I'm sorry, individually, you want to start. So those players coming off the bench should be injecting themselves to want to start, right? And I just thought that front row around that, like, I thought that change, because everything starts with your tight head. You're tight head, and I thought Fletcher Newell is your best scrummager. Thought Tyrone he's a great player. Please don't get me wrong. I thought he was one of the best forwards last year, right? Like, his interchange of passing. Twice he got into the loose and he gave brilliant 10-metre spiral passes and good decisions. But I just thought he's a bit underdone.
Yeah, well, they both are. Yeah. Tamati Williams as well.
Tamati Williams,
he
yes,
hasn't
correct,
got back
yep.
to where he was, and
Yep.
I don't think Tyrell Lomax has either. So I feel that it's more of a situation that
Good players.
and not to say that they're not good scrummagers and couldn't be combative against the Springboks and get that parity you're after. But when you haven't been playing for a couple of months and haven't got lots of minutes in you, and you're coming up against guys that have been playing regularly and are on form, what you want to be doing is coming
950 kilo back.
Exactly. You want to be coming into the game when they've got a bit of fatigue in them, don't you?
Yeah.
And you're fresh.
Yeah, correct. And also
And then
too,
build your way to starting.
correct, and build your way to starting. That's how I feel like it should always be that way. So front row. I thought obviously young Tupu Vaya was under a bit of pressure too. I thought this whole Kevin Peterson thing and
What was that? I didn't.
What is that?
I heard about that,
Mate,
but I didn't see it because again I was.
I have nothing but ultimately. I loved watching Kevin Peterson play cricket. I'm a cricket tragic man. Like I can watch. I can't play
It's
it.
the numbers, isn't it, Ray?
Oh, mate, no, I
It's
just
the
love
numbers.
the book, mate. I love it, man. It's
You love a breakdown
No,
of a
that-
run
that-
You know what he
fast-
loves? He loves when there's
Stats.
a rain delay. And they have to use that. What's that system that they use?
Duckworth Lewis.
Duckworth Lewis. That's Rain Man's.
Mate, I calculated before they do it.
They're busy calculating. Rain Man's already got it. They've got this many overs.
But look, I don't know if that sort of because he's a good young kid, man, coming through, does some really impressive things. Thought he was a little bit off his game as well. Maybe I didn't know if that was playing.
I don't think the Kevin Peterson thing bothered him at all because he was still yappy, wasn't he? In that first half,
He had another. Gave him another spray. Though, Peterson, didn't he?
gets
Didn't he
into
say?
it.
I don't mind that either, too, mate. Like at the end of the day, you're passionate about and you get a good play, a big play. Like absolutely, give it to the opposition.
Yeah, absolutely,
right?
I agree.
You just got to be careful, though. Obviously, right?
I think the issue is, and because it's been talked about a lot with the England team, with Ben Earl, where they celebrate massively like they've won a match.
Oh, yes.
The small knock-ons from another team or something like that. They're like, they've absolutely just lifted the William.
So you're talking
rebels.
about like in the spirit of the game type stuff?
I think
Or-
that's what Kevin
so,
Peters
yeah,
is
I think
talking
so,
about.
yeah.
So he's saying,
Okay.
Tupu Vai, don't do that, mate. Leave that up to the other guys like England.
Yeah. So obviously a bit of external pressure there too. Do you think you have the balance of the back row right as well?
No, not necessarily.
What
No.
do you think? I thought we were okay with that.
No, well, I'm happy with Artie being on the side of the scrum,
Yeah.
He's got to play 7, man.
but sorry.
I love him. At
Yeah,
7.
yeah, exactly. But I'm just again, I was always a massive fan of a genuine number 8, And Wallace played quite a lot of rugby last year on the side of the scrum. Look, I don't doubt that Simon Parker's a really hard worker,
Big boy too.
work ethic,
Yeah.
tackles people. And he had that one moment where him and Artie interchanged that led to that spectacular try. That was great. But when I looked at their back row, like we weren't in their ballpark by any means. Now, look, at the end of the day, they were on the front foot. They were winning the match, and so you're going to look better. But Peter Steph Totoy, the way that guy plays, he has the ability to play like that because Jasper Wiese plays through the middle. Mate, that guy just carries.
Jasper Wiese,
Mate.
did you see him?
My God.
Boomfer.
Oh, mate.
He's the
Samasoni Takiaho. Not many do that.
Mate, how much does he weigh? Is he like 125
Mate,
kilos?
he is a
of just built muscle. Like he.
I was a bit worried when the South African boys prior to the game were telling me Shimmy and that Matt Pearce were going, yes, that Jasper Wiese, he's like a caged animal waiting to get back out there after headbutting someone. I'm like, oh, okay. I think this guy's going to want to carry hard. So and then moving Sia Kolisi to the side and the way that I think that's probably one of the best Test matches he's played.
I haven't seen him play like
Quite
hasn't
a long
had that
time.
space
and he was
too.
outstanding.
He really was.
But in that mix, you had Kolisi doing a balance of 2. He carried quite tight and hard. There's one stage there he ran so hard into Wallace Satiti. I actually asked him about it when I was having a beer with him in the lobby on Saturday night. And he goes, yes, I just lined him up and I was like, I'm going to take you on. And the collision was unbelievable.
Big collision.
I remembered it. No one really picked up on it, but I said to him, because I saw it, and he was like, yeah. So he did, but then he had the breakout, his tackle work, and then obviously because those two were doing that, then Peter Steph Totoy was able to roam.
Yeah.
He's out for that wide kick, which led to the inside pass for the try. He carried in wider channels. He carried tight. So that's a back row working in synergy.
Yeah.
That's what great
Yeah.
world-class back rows do together.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, not saying any of them are playing poorly, I'm just wondering about our balance.
And the line-out steals too, right?
Yeah.
Like by having that really smart, intelligent footballer, Detroit, wow. When you talk about roaming, like, to me, it's actually having that experience of a player that can read the game. Like he knows it. You just got a license, bro. You just go wherever you want.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, of course you have structures like how they've always got, back row on the sides. The All Blacks sort of started that, right, back in 2012 or whatever, where you had sort of Kieran Reid and Richie McCaw on one side, right, but we saw Detroit popping up all over the place, and that's a guy that can read footy because he's so good, and just showed up at the right moments. And I think that's the other big key thing here too, was they had players show up at the right moments, and just didn't. No one seemed to put their hand up for the All Blacks as well, right? Like, so it's not.
Yeah, you're right. Like there was no one player,
Yeah,
apart from maybe Leroy Carter, who had a good game by themselves.
No, correct. Individual performances as well. Because
No one put a hand up.
normally, big game like that, you're still going to get some really good individual performances, not necessarily team. So hence now we go to selection, right? Like, so you go, okay, game plan, could probably look to go a bit wider, work on our aerial game if we can actually annihilate that in terms of set piece as well, get some parity. You're then starting to get some ball. So what do you look at selection here? Obviously, your back line, man, like your back three, actually back five. You'd have to say 12, 13, your two wings
Great.
and fullback, right? We haven't had any consistency in that 12, 13 for the ABs for a bit now, right? Like where...
I think that's what they're trying to do, isn't it?
Oh, of course. Yeah,
trying to
of
stick with
course.
Barrett and
Yeah, absolutely. Because very quickly, like we see the Wallabies 12, 13, right? Len Nikitel and Joseph Swiley, when Hunter Paisami comes in, we see that misbalance, right? That one pass off, that one step too far, like there's just wasn't that cohesion. So, that 12, 13, man. Look, I think you got to stay with Billy Proctor. I think he's.
Oh, yes. Now you and I are going to have.
Oh, we're gonna have.
bucking
We're gonna buck. Yeah, you don't rate him. Oh,
I don't think Billy Proctor has and probably played his best test at the weekend. And
You think he played his best test at the
yes, I
weekend?
do. Yeah. So and I don't
I
think
thought
he's
he was
playing poorly.
no.
But I just don't feel that, like you're trying to allude to, that
Who's your 12,
we've
13?
just got enough danger out there. I want to see Lester Nuku at 13 alongside Geordie Barrett.
Nice. And Geordie.
And Geordie, yeah. And I just feel that having that punch, when they brought Esteisen on,
Yeah.
like honestly, I know he's a tank, but what he was doing,
I
you
thought
see
he was a
one
number
instances
8.
where he had two defenders on him, and he's lobbing the ball over the top to his outside backs or to his centre, because he's big and powerful. Most of his distribution is post-contact, yes.
Yeah.
But Lester Nuku can do both. He's got a great offload. He's got great power when he's got two defenders on him. But if you watched him yesterday in the Tasman game, I know it's only NPC compared to Test match, but 3 or 4 times I saw him just pre-contact when he had a defender sweating all over him, just rip a pass either side.
Right,
Yeah.
that's key.
And that is key, because you've not got a guy that's just going to carry in when there's space on the outside for your outside backs. So for everybody that's going, you're going to play him at centre, he's just going to punch your way through. No way, because he's got variation in his game. And I just said, it's not criticism of Billy Proctor, it's criticism of our game plan not quite having the ability to really function in a way that it could. And getting Will Jordan in 15 jersey into the game, getting our wingers with ball and space. At the moment they're getting defenders because we're so narrow in our attack.
Well, it's time now for us to chuck our headphones on and head to South Africa, where Springboks centurion and former captain Jean de Villiers joins us. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, guys. Far better performance by the Boks. So, a quiet little smile on my face.
But I did make the comment that last week I was trying to get a Springbok to come on and comment about the test match after Eden Park, and nobody was returning my messages or anything. But I tell you, there's a queue to do it this this particular day. And obviously you being the most famous of them all, we've chosen you. But look, mate, obviously we're trying to digest what's happened from our perspective. From a Springbok perspective, firstly, did you expect the Springboks to play that way, given the amount of changes they had? And secondly, that type of result?
Yeah, Marshy. Look, just on the first comment, I think the respect certainly that I have for the All Blacks and the rivalry. You have a loss like that, and then you certainly understand the situation, but you don't gloat at all because of that respect. But it hurts. It hurts. I think both ways. The second part of the question: did we expect it? I think the intent was there when we saw the selection. Did we expect them to play the way that they did and to execute in such a manner? I certainly didn't. If you throw guys together to play for the first time and a big amount of inexperience in that, especially backline, you don't expect them to gel from the get go, and then to execute the way that they did. So, it was such a clinical performance in that second 40, and I suppose if you on a New Zealand side, you'll say, yeah, we were bad or whatever. But I think sometimes it's just the opposition as well and how good the opposition was. And for a change this time around, it was the Boks really performing well in that second 40. So did I expect a performance like that? No, I didn't.
There's been a lot of talk about the Springboks team and where they rank as far as greatness. When you factor in that 40-minute perspective, where does the Springbok team and that performance rank for you?
Well, Andy, the weird thing is that you had no Hendrik Pollard, no Damian Dialendi, no Jesse Kriel, no Willie Leroux, no Eben Etzebeth. That's 450 odd caps that you take out of that squad. And then you say, okay, well, where's that team at? But it's almost a different team to the one that won two back-to-back World Cups.
That's what we wanted to hear. Thanks.
Yeah. So I think what they have achieved has been phenomenal. I think it must go down as the best group that has played for the Springboks in what they have achieved. I think what is exciting now, after the weekend's performance, is to say, well, going forward, we've got a great pipeline of players. We won the Under-20s World Cup as well, so there's some youngsters coming through. So, and I think it's the best position that South Africa's ever been from a player point of view in terms of the pipeline of players that we've still got.
John, I think the Wallabies got to take full responsibility here of for that win, because after that Ellis Park annihilation of the Boks by the Wallabies, the Springboks, mate, they were scratching their heads like that. Like, even when they went to Cape Town, right? Like we hadn't seen Rassie that quiet or the Boks, right? Like, but now what we've seen is this hit back and this. When you just name those 5 players with 450 caps, oh my God! Like, do you think maybe this is where the direction South Africa had to go anyway? Like now this transition. Because we talk about this with all the great teams, right? Is that transition from your 100 Test veterans into brand new superstars?
Yeah, and I think it was always going to be the case because it is an aging group. So many of the players within that environment is like 31, 32, 33 odd years old. So when you get to Australia 2027, will they make it? Won't they make it? And that's been the constant debate. I think the nice position that we're in currently is that you can have those guys and they can fulfill a certain type of game for you, but then you can also revert to the youth as such, and they can provide something else. Jerry, you said it tongue in cheek in that Australia needs to take credit, but in a way, let's bring it back to that. In a way, the fact that we've been, Rassie has been so extreme in his selections. It's been, okay, Ellis Park, first 20 minutes, we were unbelievable at Ellis Park. But then the second 40, and I think it was down to, a couple of mistakes from the Boks side, intercept try, so Australia did really well. But I mean, you take those unforced errors away, and then suddenly it's a different result. But we got annihilated at the end. Okay, then they reverted back, and that's why I say it's a little bit extreme to totally different team selection and totally different way of playing in Cape Town. And we could so easily have lost that game as well, playing a way more conservative game, and then continuing with that at Eden Park and then reverting back to the initial way we wanted to play at Ellis Park against Australia this weekend. And I think that is the way forward. We speak about Tony Ball a lot here in South Africa now where TB's come in and has really made a difference. But playing in that style and being able to be comfortable in playing with ball in hand and heads up rugby, that takes time. And I think we kind of at that tipping point now where we're saying, okay, well, that is the way forward. But we need to get comfortable in it, and we can't go that extreme, too conservative, too quickly again.
Mate, I had a bit of a laugh and snigger when you said Tony Brown ball. Like, I played with Tony Brown, never saw that fucker pass it once. Like, honestly, a show and go specialist. Like, honestly,
He was the worst dummy in the world.
Oh, mate. But look, speaking of obviously the Springboks and you being a former captain, over 100 tests, we need help. Or we'd like your insight. What are you seeing from an All Black perspective that is making us vulnerable, and where are we going wrong at the moment, or is it not that bad?
Cheapest Marshy, I think you'd be able to give great advice as well, seeing that you're one of us now, right?
Yes, absolutely, but yes, lekker, no problem. Brandy and Coke. Avant.
Yes, we've adopted Marshy, okay? You look at it. I was fortunate to play against, I think, probably the best All Black teams that you've had. That generation, 2010 to 2015, just phenomenal team. But also then you look at individually the kind of players that they had. You had the Nonus, you had the McCaws, you had the Carters, you had the list goes on and on and on. And I think the All Blacks are certainly in a transitional phase in terms of the team, but also in terms of the players. You won't go immediately and say, these 5 guys in the All Black team currently is the best in the world in their respective positions. So I think there's an identity. A little bit of our identity, not crisis, but issue with the All Blacks currently. And also Scott Robertson taking over, it takes time to get used to that. Can you really just take the success of Super Rugby and apply the same principles in Test match rugby and get the same results? And I don't think you can just copy and paste that. So there are multiple things that I think adds to where they are currently. But All Black Rugby is All Black Rugby. And like I said, we will always respect it. And sometimes it's just a hard reset, putting everyone in a room and saying, guys, where we at? How do we make it better? Get all stakeholders involved and say, well, how do we get this right? And create that environment where you are constantly getting better and better and better. Because also if you go analyze the game on the weekend, it came down to a couple of unforced errors, individual errors, in the Bok 22, where the week before you were so clinical, this time around you couldn't get the tries from those situations. And suddenly in the last 15 minutes, you feel the effect of that. So, it's a hard reset, yes, but it's also staying true to, okay, we've said this is where we want to go. Yes, this is a bit of a blip and it hurts tremendously, but let's stick to that. We've said that's where we want to go and we just work harder towards that.
Jean, from a Wallabies point of view, mate, look, we've finally opened up overseas, right? This whole Mac Giddo law didn't exist. Anyway, we could always choose players from overseas. Obviously, the Boks have been in this position for many, many years, and they handle, I don't know, do they have better relationships with clubs? Do you know of any sort of insight of how the Springboks deal with overseas clubs? Because to me, like without Will Skilton or James O'Connor, if we had Will Skilton in the side, I think for the Bledisloe Cup this weekend, the All Blacks would be shitting themselves. I just love how you guys seem to manage players so incredibly well that are playing. Because I Japan League, every Wallaby player that's come back has been awful. Whereas with Springboks, mate, they're playing at test level. Like, how are you guys managing this?
Yeah, it's very much the management of the players. So, I made a comment, probably 12 months ago, and I said, I can't see Australia getting back to where they need to be if they don't start selecting the guys from overseas, because just some of the positions where you guys were lacking, you had guys based overseas that could add so much to the team, and I think we've seen that now. And it hates me. I hate to say it, but I mean, it's great to see Australia back to where they're at.
You don't mean it. Come on, you don't mean it.
Yeah.
We say it and we don't mean it as well. We're all the same.
Yeah.
We're all the same.
There's a guy with a gun, but it is it's great. It's great to see that. The way that the Boks get it right is, again, credit to Rassie, is the management of the players. Whatever club you are at, there are certain levels and things that you need to be able to do from a conditioning point of view, from a preparation point of view, etc., etc. And with the world and the technology that we have these days, you've got access to everyone, and you can so easily follow them as well. It doesn't matter where they are based in the world. So it's being able to say, okay, well, the standard for a center is X, Y, and Z on whatever criteria you have, and you need to be able to get to those standards, whether it's playing in South Africa, playing in New Zealand, Japan, UK, or wherever. And at one stage, Rassie actually, so Felix Jones was based in the UK, and he would go to those players. He would be the guy that actually goes to those players, watches their games, meets up with them, make sure that they're in the know in terms of the alignment camps that they have. Guys would dial in for those camps. So there are ways to manage the players, and with the technology that we have, it's a professional game. And I think from a test match rugby point of view, we want to be able to see the best players in the world play test match rugby, representing their countries. Absolutely. And if we have that, the product that we put out there is just so much better, and rugby as a whole commercially becomes a far better property. So it's all about the management of the players, and whether it is locally based players or whether it is wherever based players, manage them, get in contact, make sure you track how they're doing.
Mate, just well answered as well, and I totally agree with you. Look, just a final question, because I know that you have got yourself out of bed very early in the morning for us. You're looking immaculate. I've never seen you without having had a shower and well dressed and well groomed. It's very impressive. Even at that time of the morning, I'll be looking very disheveled.
That you haven't seen me.
But just to get your thoughts, you've got Argentina back to back. What a performance against the All Blacks. What does Rassie do now with his selections and for these two test matches? And one of them's at Wembley. Is it Wembley? And
it's at Twickenham.
It's at Twickenham in London. Yeah, it's like, okay, one in South Africa and then one, basically what happens now, you think?
Yeah, Marcia, and the rugby championship is wide open, right?
Yeah.
Each team kind of, you play one, you lose one, you play one, you lose one. So that trend might just continue, and it might come down to bonus points, whoever wins it. I think South Africa is probably the best place currently, and the reason I say that is because obviously Australia and New Zealand, you guys play one home, one away. We play one home, one neutral ground, so not that homegrown advantage has counted that much, because we've got a 50% strike rate, everyone, in terms of the rugby championship. But South Africa, I think, just in terms of that, are probably better position. I won't be surprised if we see Argentina win one of those. Just the way that they've been playing, where the Boks are still lacking is probably defensively and in the outside channels, where if you get a bit of width on the game, we are under pressure. And Argentina has been scoring unbelievable tries from set phases, attacking that 13 channel and the outside channels, and they're just playing beautiful rugby. So I think Rassie will stick to the group or the majority of the group that played in Wellington, and maybe it's not just changing personnel within the team and tactics, because that has kind of gone hand in hand. He goes more conservative, but he changes the personnel as well, where you can stick to the personnel and say, okay, just dial down a little bit on the expansive game, a little bit more game management, and see if you can do that. But you still have the option of kind of playing the expansive game within those boundaries. So I think that Argentina has won one game in South Africa in the history of the game in Durban in 2015. And they're playing in Durban again. So
Argentina to win the championship. He said it, Jean de Villiers. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you very much for your perspective.
Who's going to win the Bledisloe? Wallabies?
I don't think.
The perfect answer.
He gave you
bullshit,
nothing.
John. That's bullshit.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, guys. I don't know who's going to win. Cheers, guys.
Your face said it all.
I'm going to take my headphones off now. We're not the only rugby team in mourning. JP. Mate, if it wasn't for Rabs, you guys would have had 50 put on you.
Mate, would you say we're in mourning? Like, mate, we only just lost. No, look, it was
You love giving up a lot of points. And
mate, what about it was 64th minute? It's 28-7.
I know, mate.
64th minute.
But think of Ellis Park. It happened there as well.
3 o'clock in the morning, 2:30 in the morning. Like I'm like watching, going, ugh, and then, oh my God, like this incredible, like scoring points, right? Like, what about a side now, like a Wallaby side, where they've got this 4th and 5th gear, to score points. Like, those really good teams, right? My God,
They started that last year, didn't they? They did that to the All Blacks. They came back and you were like, here they come.
Not to this point, like where we, to be honest, like, okay, I look at the Pumas, like their attack off first phase, so like particularly scrum, I think have the best attack off scrum. Like their first phase attack, they scored a couple of tries in that Townsville game straight off scrums, right? They're super dangerous. It's almost like a sequence play too, because they've second and third phases, I think, are already predicted. But anyway, and then you look at the Wallabies with respects to their attack. Where did we all of a sudden can just score like 21 points in 7 minutes, 7-8 minutes? Like that's the sign of a side that can just drop a gear and go bang. Like, and if they could then stop teams from scoring, like the third test against the Lions, right? They didn't score a point. The Lions didn't score a point for 64 minutes. That really good defensive, up in your face, making those tackers, Dylan Peach, right? Like when he made those real good decisions, bang turnovers. Like we haven't been seeing that defensive structure or that defensive power in comparison to scoring. Like I think once they can put that, and let's add in also the ill discipline, right? Like you can't be giving up. I think in both games, what about how identical this is? In Townsville, the halftime score was 7-21 to the Pumas, and we had given away 8 penalties, sorry, it's 8-3. And the game in Sydney, it was 7-19, and we'd given away 8 penalties. It was almost identical halves, right? Like, and except that obviously we scored 4 tries to 1. They took the points, which was really smart. We're actually seeing a side take points. Wow.
Yep. Yeah,
just shows, right?
Well, he's kicking so well, though.
Oh, mate, you take the points, right? But look, I think you could sum up the Wallaby performance in this one. Like, we almost score a try with Rob Valentini. He probably shouldn't have gone for it. Knocks the ball over the line. We then get penalised, and they then have an attack down the left-hand side. Max Jorgensen intercept Simbin, literally in the space of 30 seconds. And that pretty much emphasises where the Wallabies are, right? We're almost there, and then we go and do something silly. So, not saying it's schoolboyish as such, there's still obviously a little bit of immaturity in this side, making sort of poor mistakes, ill discipline, not being disciplined enough to take that extra step, release that, get out of the ruck, all these sort of little things that make you a great side. But then I don't even think they realise they've got this gear. That's the other part about this too. I don't believe they know when they can drop the gear. The good sides, like the All Blacks, like in that 2011 to 2015 period, they knew they could drop a gear. and they could do it. I don't think this Wallaby side actually knows how to, but they've got it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, so you know what you're not saying. What you are clearly saying is it's not desperation. It's the fact that a few things are going wrong, whether they're execution, whether they're discipline, whatever. But they do have the ability to drop this gear defensively, in particular, and then formulate their attack, and still got plenty of legs at that stage of the game. So they're obviously a much fitter side. And I think there's no coincidence that all of a sudden this year Australia's set pieces
far better in it. Yeah.
Incredibly better.
Yeah.
Like
I was worried about that.
70% better.
Yeah. I was worried about that at the lines, right? The scrummage.
Well, so was I. I was taking the piss out of you.
Who's the tight five? Yeah. But is the tight five going to be able to man
that
up?
question's been answered. I am quite happy to have egg on my face, and well done to the coaching staff and the players, because the solidity of your set piece now is brilliant. But
is that Mike Cron?
Yeah,
he's got a bit to do with it.
Yeah. But I think the personnel as well. Look, I think we've never seen Will Skilton stand up like this before, right? And to see him, how he manhandled, he made guys look like ball. Like I've never seen dominance like that.
And other areas, like your maul defence is so much better, and your own line out more. So all those elements have come together. But at the end of the day, still like everybody else, you have dropped test matches this year, and so there's still a little lack of consistency. But the majority of it has been when you are conceding points and having to play catch up. And one thing you cannot afford to do is concede points against the All Blacks. So it must be worrying that that's still happening for some reason. Because I would have thought Joe Schmidt would be zeroing on it. He'd be going, boys, we can if we actually didn't concede too many points in the first half, we'd be winning these test matches comfortably. You'd be saving me a heart attack. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, mate, what's going on?
Mate, talk about emotional turmoil, right? Like as a Wallaby fan, go back to like the first test v the Lions, underdone, showed some glimpses. Second test, probably best 10 minutes of attack I've seen. I said this for over a decade.
Did you say robbed?
But
Did you say robbed?
I didn't say robbed. That wasn't a penalty. I came on here and said it wasn't a penalty. We weren't robbed. But we lost that game, right? We should have won that, right? We defensively let them in. Third game, we took this new level like that we'd never seen before, like this physicality, this dominance, particularly in our forward pack. A couple of personnel changes too. Dylan Peach, we haven't obviously seen him back as yet, obviously injured. Will Skilton, Big Tupu. Wow, our boy Tupu. Yes. So I've said this.
Congratulations to Tupu, by
the way.
Yes,
engagement, my man. Man, we love you, bro. We love you,
awesome,
man.
brother. He was on the rocks, wasn't he?
Oh, mate,
somewhere
look,
there.
I love it. I love.
Mate, I took a screenshot of his Instagram post because it was that good.
Yeah,
I'm gonna find it. Bear with,
mate. I love sending him messages, going because he always has these little practical jokes. Like he's one of the practical jokers of the team.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Shall I bring these back?" And I'm like, "Yes, mate." Yeah.
So his Instagram post, the caption was, crouch, touch, pause, engaged. And then I didn't even know you could do this on Instagram. He's given prompts for you to comment. So you can just click on one of these things and it will comment for you. The first prompt is that caption, laughing face, congratulations. Stop it. These are so beautiful, congratulations. And the next one is unreal, what a caption.
I love seeing his stories. Like he stitched up Angus Bell actually. Like you can.
That was funny.
Yeah, they're doing like this dance thing, and Angus Bell does this dance thing. But you can see the fun, the laughter, like the camaraderie. Like you can see that sort of closeness, and obviously you can't build any type of game plan unless you're really tight off the field. And I think we've seen this now over the last sort of couple of years. They're building a really good nucleus of a squad. But in terms of playing though, like we obviously go to South Africa. We come up with one hell of a win in Ellis Park. I mean, who would have saw that coming, like that next 15 minutes? And that's what we've sort of seen now, right? In this regular, over these next 4 games, like in those 4 games, the 2 South African and 2 Argentinian games, where we're not starting well. Now, I look at also too where we're lacking a bit of depth now. That is at 10. I actually thought James.
Like where you're going with
well,
this.
To me, James O'Connor should have started the whole time. I will back Joe Schmidt. I'm never criticising Joe Schmidt. I've backed him from day one, right? Probably one of the only Wallaby guys that have backed him, right? Because his selections have been excellent. And I actually get why he started with Tane Edmond. Like, because I think he had an inkling that James O'Connor wasn't going to be there for potentially the Bledisloe. So try and get with Tom Liner, Noah Lalicio out, like you got to give him some time on the pitch. But
I think, speak of the devil, I think he heard you. I think because he's just messaged me, Raps. And
Big Raps!
He's going to jump on.
Is he?
Let's chuck our headphones on because he's going to jump on.
Wow.
Where are you, Raps? Because we were talking about it earlier. Marshy reckons he broke the news that you've gone back to Leicester. You've got you got a pot plant in the back. You look like you're in the tropics. It doesn't look like you're at the airport.
Not yet. I fly out. So my dog gets picked up at 4:00. So in 2.5 hours, and then we fly at 9 p.m. So
when
just
this
doing
goes to air, James O'Connor will be on a flight to Leicester.
Yeah.
In cattle class.
Mate, you always turn left. Especially when the club's playing.
Rabs, I'm just gonna say it. This is bullshit. Why aren't you staying and playing in the Bledisloe Cup?
Oh man, I want to. Like I've made it pretty clear that I want to play. I think Joe's still talking with Leicester at the moment. So like as I said, I'm happy to. I'll bloody do what my dog's doing and fly under the plane to get back. So I land Tuesday England time. So I'll pick the dog up on Wednesday. So me and the missus and the dog are all on the same flight. But he stays over for an extra day. So we'll pick him up on Wednesday, head up to the new house, get settled in, and then, man, I'm more than happy to fly straight back.
So just given what you said that you always turn left, would you fly cattle class to come all the way back?
I'll fly under the plane to come back to the Bledisloe.
Yeah, righto, mate. Okay, well, that's hopeful news. So you've obviously got to make an appearance at Leicester, and then you know that we've got your back, mate. So we'll just be pumping your tyres for the next 2 weeks. But we've got to obviously digest that test match at the weekend. Obviously, you had a massive influence in it. The first thing I wanted to ask you was, obviously, with them being so dominantly ahead at half-time, what was the chat in the changing rooms about getting back into that game, and you yourself knowing you're going to be injected at some stage?
I just felt, number one, they were winning that aerial battle. But number two, like, if you're giving away that many penalties, we were just allowing them to creep up the field. And then, like, man, Carreras can hit a ball from anywhere. He's such a clean kicker of the ball. So they just kept the scoreboard creeping over. Like, I always knew if we could get the territory battle, we could win it. I felt like we were kicking quite aimlessly at times. Like, it was part of our game plan to sort of squeeze them. But I just felt like, well, we were very clear at halftime in terms of let's kick on the front foot, but we need to hold the ball a little bit more and manipulate their defense so we can trap their guys in the backfield with 1 and 4 of us, instead of them being able to catch it and get a clean kick away. So that was the 2 main points were penalties and then winning that aerial battle. But I guess, when I got on, there's only sort of one thing to do when you're sort of behind by that much, and I just got the whip out and just got the boys moving. Probably pushed them a little bit too hard, but we had quite a bit to sort of creep back, and credit to the guys because they just started playing on top. And, man, we were fatigued, but you could see they were probably a little bit more fatigued than us. So some things came off and others didn't. It wasn't perfect, but, we got ourselves right in a position to, be able to draw the game or at least possibly win it.
Rabs, why is it so important for you to kick on the front foot? Like, from a layman's perspective here, like, mate, help me understand, like, why is it so important that you've got to be kicking on the front foot, and what happens when you don't?
Well, if you're kicking from 9 and you're not on the front foot, they've got 2 guys in the backfield. They'll probably send a forward back there. So they've got 3 or 4 guys who can get under that high ball and then, get a nice clean there. They can lengthen it, kick it straight back to us. Or they've already got all their guys moving, behind the ball. So they know what's coming. When you kick it on that front foot, you can manipulate so they've only got one guy who's isolated on his own, or sometimes even better, you can bring him up and kick to space where there's no one. So then it becomes a foot race. And even if they beat you to the ball, they have to turn around to get to it. So we've got 3 guys, possibly 4, coming onto the ball, and we can just blast that breakdown or, steal the ball straight away or pin them in a corner. So one, they have to kick with a terrible angle and kick out. Then we get the ball within, 40 metres with a line out that we want marching forward to our line. So it makes a huge difference whether you're kicking on the front foot or back foot.
Rabs, last 4 games, mate, we've seen terrible starts, right? Like we're giving up far too many points. And look, obviously the things you've said, ill discipline, poor decision making, not taking our opportunities, all the above. But this ability to drop a gear and to be able to score points at will, like when everyone's focused, like. Mate, have you played in a side like this last 4 games? Mate, I haven't seen points scored like this by Wallaby side for decades.
Yeah. Well, I said to the guys after the game when it could possibly be my last one, like, this team has it. We can attack from anywhere. Like, for me, I can only speak from experience, but that 2010, 2011 Wallabies team to me was a group that could score sort of from anywhere. And this group's probably even not another level up, but the skill set and their willingness to sort of throw the ball. I think that's one real positive that Joe's done is he's given us license to be able to move that ball. And I think, we haven't had the greatest starts against South Africa. Probably a big part of that was me in that first game because I was just testing out their D and trying to find where the weaknesses were when I probably could have played, a bit more territory. But I'm like, look, we're playing the world champs here. We're not going to win by playing chess with them. We're going to have to genuinely beat them. So, I'll cop that one on the chin. The second test, again, we probably just lost that aerial battle and they just, outmaneuvered us. But we really had a game plan this week of starving Argentina. So we wanted to play territory. We wanted to, play in their far end. We wanted to get them into the 22, and it just sort of, sometimes it doesn't quite work out. And then, when you kick a little bit aimlessly and the forwards are sort of always having to turn around and run back, it just takes the juice out of their legs. In saying that, though, we felt there was opportunity at halftime. We felt if we got on the same page and we didn't try to rush points, we got down there twice and, got held up once and another time turned it over within the first, play. And then another time we kicked from set piece, which the kick was on the money, but, it's still a 50-50. Whereas I feel like with this group, if we hold the ball in that front 30, we usually come away with points.
Rabs, I wanted to ask you about your attacking mindset because it was very evident and fair play to you because you're going into the danger zone when you've got Chocobates coming at you in that zone. But you were prepared to go even on block plays, wrap plays, real flat. And it just brought defenders in and created space on the outside and led to tries. So that's the first part of the question. What were you seeing that made you want to feel like you needed to do that, and equally you got the success from it? And then secondly, there's obviously been a bit of fallout about not your pass, but another pass that eventuated that I think the rest of the world kind of thought was forward, apart from 3 officials within the game. How did you see it?
It was forward. But the other one from Fraser wasn't. So, we evened it back up. So,
Yep.
But yeah, in terms of my decision making, you can see Argentina defend very differently to the Springboks and the All Blacks. They're very good at reading blocker plays and pushing off, holding short, and then getting to the next defender. So for me, I have to make sure that I'm holding them up. So that's why I'm playing flat at the line, and sometimes getting my ribs tickled, but you're taking one for the team there. And then again, when you're behind sort of by 3 tries plus a penalty, I know we've got to move the ball. So quick taps, I'm speeding it up. It makes my job, sounds funny, but it makes my job easy because all I have to do is attack. I'm not even thinking of anything else but moving that ball. So hitting guys, getting second touches, just trying to create as much as possible. Obviously, it's not a game. I'm not playing very balanced, so I'm going to make errors, and some of the other guys are too because we're playing fast. We're playing on top of them where it's like you're playing with an advantage almost, penalty advantage. We've got to keep that ball moving. But as well, I feel like I'm getting a good understanding of what the guys around me and how the guys like the ball, like how Jorgo likes the ball, how Sue likes the ball, how our back rowers can get a second touch and, get a ball away to me and get it back to me, even our locks. So I feel like I'm building a good combination with these guys, but already within them, they have combinations from, super level and from previous tests, even that Lions series, I felt like solidified a lot of that.
Rabs, the great Joe Roth actually used to say about playing was, don't ever take an opportunity and ride that wave into the beach. You ride that wave all the way into the fucking car park.
Yeah.
You're 35. Mate, are you a chance for the 2027 Rugby World Cup? Because your form, mate, 10s, Noel Alicio injured. We haven't got a 10 that is solidified or put their hand up. Mate, are you a genuine chance now for the 2027 Rugby World Cup? Exclusive here at G-Brands?
Exclusive. Like, honestly, I never would have thought it, but the way my body's feeling now, and 100% I want it.
Yes!
Yeah, it's Rabs.
Yeah. Yeah, again, it's almost like the Lions story. We'll
Tom
see.
Brady.
Time will tell whether how the body holds up, etc. But I feel like I've hit a nice little. I know my body well, and coaches, especially, like when they allow you to train in a way that's a little bit different to possibly the rest of the group because of your age. You know, I make kicking a big emphasis and just not having to put the extra miles in my legs. Like rugby, the game day, that 80 minutes, that's the fun part. That's the nectar. It's not. Well, I find that easier than actually, you know, when you do a real tough day of training, then you got to back it up with a double session. Then you're doing it again Thursday to get up for a Saturday game. So I'm blessed that, you know, Rob Penny was very generous with, you know, how he allowed me to train. Number
What do you
one.
mean Test Match Wednesday? You mean, like, how bad is Test Match Wednesday?
Oh, bro, 100%. And even like Joe, he understands, you know, my limitations in terms of my, you know, putting too many miles in my legs. So it works quite well as well because we got other young 10s, you know, with Tommy, Tane and Dono who want to train more and want the extra kilometres. So I'm saying, yeah, have 5 reps and I'll take 2. It works
Give me
for
the
both
bib.
of us.
Give me the bib.
You know what the other side of it is, Rabs, is the fact that it's really mental as well. But you've got a good 2 years of Waz's wise words of wisdoms to motivate you through to that. And mate, he's going to have to make a massive adjustment now. Now, obviously, Bledisloe's the unknown, but we've got to jump ahead. He's got to coach you through the Leicester experience now. So he's got to pivot as well. He's got a big change coming in his life.
I'll send through the first message before the Bristol game in 2 weeks' time, if I'm not coming back. I'll let him know. Well, he'll obviously see this, but I'll let him know that you said it. He's just upstairs now. He can probably hear. So I go put him on.
Oh, is the great man upstairs?
Get him.
Everyone's here.
He's probably meditating up there.
Should we? Should we get
was
Wazza on?
Yeah.
Best news I've heard all day, Rabs. You gonna stick on? Because obviously talking about you wanting to make the British and Irish Lions squad this year and being a part of this journey, I can tell you for for Andy, Marshy and myself, mate, it's been so much fun. We laugh and giggle about it all the time, just going, wow, wow.
What a ride.
Like, what a ride. And but you're right. Like, I think if you can be smart with your body, obviously we'll have to come back to Super Rugby, but mate, I can't see why you wouldn't be a chance for the 2027 Rugby World Cup.
Yeah. Well, man, I want it. I want to be a part of it. I think even going to Leicester and playing in the championship will help even evolve my game a little bit too, in terms of understanding a little bit more, you know, kick battles, and that's sort of part of my game I do want to work on. So yeah, being able to sit in the pocket and ride a game out, not just play sort of full attack.
So have we got Wazza there, have we?
Here's my older brother, Daniel.
Oh, the one you used to scrap? There he is.
DC.
And this is my mother, Tina. Say hello to the G.
Hey, Tina.
crew.
Hey, Tina.
Hello.
This is Wazza, the wise
Wazza!
Wow.
Yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Mate, a legend in my lunchbox, mate.
How have you found adjusting to his various teams? Because he's been through more clubs than Tiger Woods, to be perfectly honest. And now he's going to be moving on to Leicester.
Mate, it's all about going with the flow, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Trusting the
just-
flow.
Just about letting things flow the way that they naturally should.
I better get packing.
Yeah, you've
All
got
right,
lots to
mate.
do. Thank you very
See
much
you,
for
bro.
coming on, mate.
Cheers, brother.
We love you,
Appreciate
bro.
it. I'll speak to you soon, hey?
World Cup
Gotcha,
2027.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, mate.
How good's that?
Wow.
We just got Rabs on, and then we got a little bit of Waz's wise words.
Mate, was wise words as well as confirmation that he's going for the 27th. Look, do you remember sitting here, right? Like at the start of the year, and I think it was February, first show, as Rabs on as a guest.
New Crusader.
Well, no, mate, and he was a guest, right? Like, so we've spoken to him about maybe jumping on as like
A regular.
another guest presenter. See how he went. Like, obviously gelled perfectly because he's a great guy, amazing guy. But to see like how passionate he was right at the start, like going, mate, I've come here to Christchurch. I've moved here basically for nothing, right? Because they didn't have anything really. Would have been a very low contract. And then to go on this journey, man. Like, and now to even look at the 2026, because it's really only a year and a half away, year and a half to 18.
Such 18? A good story.
Well, I think
brilliant story.
We've kind of been little mini Wazzers in the background. Eh? We've been on the journey with them.
Yeah, we've given him the sauce that he needed. And so are our listeners. We're gonna leave it there before we digress too much. Thank you very much for listening or watching, and a massive thanks to our mates at Harvey Norman. They've got a huge range of next-gen AI PCs from the world's top brands: Microsoft, HP, Lenovo, Acer, and Asus, all powered by Snapdragon. Enjoy your rugby this weekend. We'll be back again next week, same time, same place, to preview the Bledisloe Cup. And we've got a very special guest. It's going to be us three in studio, and Izzy Dag is coming on.
Yes.
How good.
Go the Wallabies.
It's coming home.